IPMNation.com.
Welcome, everybody, to Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt from IPM Nation, and we are here, of course, at the studio at 598 Main Street in downtown Laconia. And what we're going to do this week, we're going to do something special, and we did this on the previous episode, too. We kind of broke format because, like I say, after 6 years of doing this show, it's kind of nice to shake it up a little bit. So, previous episode, instead of just focusing on one featured artist with the usual interview and then some studio tracks and or a live performance and whatnot, I decided to play a bunch of artists who seem to be really kind of making things happen online and getting a lot of attention, who have never been on the show. So it was all about promoting new music, and we played, I think, 10 or 11 tracks of people who'd never been on Local Outbreak, who you very well may hear on the show in the near future, but who we haven't featured before. So if you want to go back and listen to that, of course, we do archive all the shows at IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak. You can find the most recent episodes right there on that page, and then if you click the show archive link on that page, it'll take you to the full archive going all the way back to the beginning. So like I said, we've been doing this for, actually I think it'll be coming up on 7 years of Local Outbreak pretty soon. So we did that last week, and by the way, next week on the show, we will be getting back to the regular format. I've got a band called New Band, but there's some familiar names in the band, people who've been on the show before in other projects. But this new band is called Dead Harrison, and they're going to be with us next week here on Local Outbreak, and I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be good to see those guys, because like I said, the people in the band, I think they've probably all been on the show before in one formulation or another. But what we're going to do this week is kind of a look back at, and by the way, everybody who I'm going to be playing this week has also never been on the show. But, here on Local Outbreak, and just for the uninitiated, if you've never heard this program before, we feature artists from New Hampshire, musicians from New Hampshire, or generally, once in a while, we venture into other corners of New England, but for the most part, we stick to the Granite State. And something that we've never done that I always thought would be kind of interesting would be to play music from some New Hampshire bands who really kind of left a lasting impression on the New Hampshire music scene. So bands from the past, or in some cases they might still be together. In fact, our first guest, well, not guest, but our first featured artist this week, who I'm going to get to in just a moment, is in the midst of a reunion. Actually, I think the reunion officially started at the beginning of the year. They signed a new record deal and whatnot, but we'll get to that. But I'm going to play for you music from artists who have had a lasting impression. New Hampshire-based artists who, kind of maybe sort of got national, but aren't necessarily household names, but are really well known. So no, just so there's no misunderstanding, you're not going to hear Aerosmith on the show tonight. That would be foolish. I know they're originally from New Hampshire, though they call themselves a Boston band. There's because there's probably 10 other stations right now on the dial that you could tune to and hear an Aerosmith song on some classic rock station. No, we're not going to do that. No, these are all bands who aren't super famous, but they are kind of famous within the New Hampshire music scene. And that's what we're going to do tonight. I don't know how many bands we're going to feature, because I'm going to feature a couple tracks from each artist. So we'll see how much time we have, because it's only an hour show. So if there's a band that I left out that you think is super important, don't be offended. It's, we've only got so much time. And what we're going to do is, so I'm going to play a couple tracks from each artist. I'm going to tell you who the artist is and kind of give you an idea of their era in the New Hampshire music scene. What I'm not going to do, just so you know up front, is I'm not going to do a whole big thing where each band I introduce and say, I read you their bio and say such and such formed in 1992 in the Seacoast area, and its members are blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to do that. After this introduction, there's not going to be a lot of talking. I'll tell you who each band is, and I'll say, and here's a couple songs from them, because I want tonight's show to be about the music. A typical local Outbreak, there's a lot of talking because I interview each guest and then we play the tunes. But tonight, I figure after this, we're going to play the music. I'll tell you who each band is. But, everybody knows how to use Google. So if I play an artist and you're like, you know what, I've heard of them, they're interesting, this is good stuff, I want to learn more about them, you can go online and learn more about them. But you don't need me to sit here and tell you a bunch. Everybody's got a smartphone in their pocket if you're listening to the show and you want to learn more about each artist. And I hope you do investigate more about each artist that I play tonight, or at least if you hear one that you particularly like. Because, like I say, everybody I play tonight is somebody who I think has made an impact, a lasting impression on the New Hampshire music scene. But you can do your own research. I'm going to leave that to you. But we're going to open with, I'm going to play a couple of tracks from a band who recently reformed with a couple new members, but definitely a lasting impression on the New Hampshire music scene. And a lot of the artists that I've interviewed right here on Local Outbreak mention them as an influence. And the band is called Scissor Fight. And I'm going to play a couple tracks from them. This is Blizzard's Buzzards Bastards, my personal favorite Scissor Fight song. And then we're also going to play Granite State Destroyer to wrap up this segment here on Local Outbreak. So here is a couple of tracks from Scissor Fight.
Blizzard's moving in, looks like you're wrong again. When cabin fever hits, it sends us into fits of innkeeper's disease and screaming in the trees. The blizzard never ends, the blizzard buries them. Blizzards, buzzards, bastards. Blizzards, buzzards, bastards. Blizzards, buzzards, bastards. Blizzards, buzzards, bastards. The buzzard's crashing in. Looks like you're wrong again. Again he's flying high. He's lighting up the sky. The buzzard does not fear the man in riot gear. Harvest the skull of stone. The buzzard grows his own. Blizzards, buzzards, bastards. Blizzards, buzzards, bastards. Blizzards, buzzards, bastards. Blizzards, buzzards, bastards. Back off my car, creep. You heard me? I think you heard me. I think you heard me.
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt Connarton from IPM Nation, IPMNation.com. And this week on Local Outbreak, we're doing something different. If you joined us late, it's legacy bands that have had a lasting impact on the New Hampshire music scene. Many bands that you're probably aware of, have heard of, or have seen live, but some of whom are no longer around. So kind of a look backward tonight. I thought this would be fun, kind of something kind of different as we try to shake up the format from time to time here on LO. And the next band I'm going to feature, a personal favorite of mine from the Seacoast area. They've been around for 20 years, and one of the guys in the band is Bob Lord, who I used to work with for a little bit at Red Fez Records. This was probably more than a decade ago. Wow. And Bob also composed the music that you can hear on a local radio show, which is on another station, so I won't be specific. But anyway, Dreadnought is really great. So we're going to play a couple Dreadnought songs. I'm going to play Ballbuster, which is from an album called The American Standard in 2001. And then they've got another track. These guys have a sense of humor. It's called She Got the Bony Cleave. We're going to play that too, because this is really good stuff. So this is from the Seacoast area. This is Dreadnought here on Local Outbreak.
She got the B of the B. She got the nasty weave. She got the Donald Trump wheel. She got the bone and bone and bone and bone and bone and bone and burn and burn and burn and burn and burn and burn. Nasty, 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 nasty.
Next up on this week's local Outbreak, our legacy show, another band that has had a lasting impact on the music scene. And if you're a part of the New Hampshire music scene, an active participant or an observer for any length of time, you've at least heard of this band. And if you've been involved for a long time, you're definitely very familiar with them. I remember working at Strawberries on Loudon Road in Concord many years ago, and people would come in looking for this band all the time because it was very difficult to get their very popular CD at the time. Sick at Last was the name of the album. And the band, of course, if you haven't figured it out by now, is also, by the way, these guys are from the Seacoast area. The band is Groove Child, who got absolutely huge within the New Hampshire scene. And they have done a reunion. I'm not sure if they're doing anything currently, but I think they've done a reunion or two along the way. But couldn't do a show like this without including Groove Child. So going to play a couple of my favorite Groove Child tracks for you now. We're going to play Riverside and Rock Wall right now here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
see in the cold granite grave. Rock walls telling tales through fields before I lost my way. The thought of this is home. Now I don't recognize anything of my own. I used to love this place along the wooded road. Times were good then, yeah. Times that I've known, where have they gone? Each time I leave and I move far away, something draws me back to here, but I never think I'll stay. Memories taking hold, not enough still to keep me when I go. I know I'll miss this place and long to be back home. I see in the cold granite grave. Rock walls telling tales through fields before I lost my way. The thought of this is home. Now I don't recognize anything of my own. I used to love this place along the wooded road. I used to love this place along the wooded road. I used to love this place along the wooded road. I used to love this place along the wooded road. I used to love this place along the wooded road. I used to love this place along the wooded road. Times were good then here, the times that I've known, where have they gone?
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt Connarton. And this week on Local Outbreak, I'm calling this the Legacy Show, going back and featuring artists going back, well, we've gone back into the 90s so far with, let's see, Scissor Fight, I think started late 90s. Of course, Groove Child we have featured so far, definitely going back into the 90s for that. Let's see. Want to do, and of course, Dreadnought, who've been around for 20 years. So they've been, like I said, it was 20 years this year, I believe, for Dreadnought, or maybe last year. But we're going to go back into the 90s again, and then pretty soon we're going to go back. We'll see how far we go back. But with this band, we're going back to the 90s, a band called Say Zuzu. Again, this is another band, if you're at all familiar with the New Hampshire music scene and have been for any length of time, there's no way you're not aware of them. People still talk about Say Zuzu. It's another Seacoast area band. A lot of great stuff comes out of the Seacoast area of New Hampshire. And this is a song rather, called Moonshiner. So we're going to play that now. Moonshiner from the great Say Zuzu here on Local Outbreak.
the whiskey don't cure me. Lord, I don't know what will. And I go to some bar room, drink with my friends, where the woman can't follow. See where I spend. God bless them, pretty women. I wish they were mine, with the breath that's sweet as the dew on the vine. But I eat when I'm hungry. Let me drink when I'm dry. $2 when I'm hard up. Religion when I die. The whole world is about love and life. It's but a drown when the bottle is empty. Lord, it sure ain't worth a damn.
All right, now we're going to go back even further, going all the way back to 1988. This band was around from 88 to 98, a very well-known punk band from the area called The Bruisers. And they have, like most punk bands, the songs aren't very long. So we're going to play a couple of them. We're going to play Intimidation and Till the End, from both very punk-sounding titles. This is New Hampshire's own The Bruisers here on Local Outbreak.
You see that fear on my face, but I won't run from you. Well, I tried, these are all my friends, and now what are you gonna do? Go ahead, try to push us around and we'll beat you. Black and blue, oh, it'll take any city to spend it from. Like to you, yeah, you. Intimidation is your game when two can also play. Put me on in the bad light drawn in the tubes. Gonna pay. You think you're right, you think we're wrong, when time will show that tell. We'll never give in, we'll keep on fighting. Gonna shove you back down your well, your well. Determination is your game, but the blues are surely for you to sing. Determination is your game, but the blues are surely for you to sing. Determination is your game, but the blues are surely for you to sing. Determination is your game, but the blues are surely for you to sing. Like a shame. You see the spit on my face, but I won't run from you. But I tried, these are all my friends, and now what are you gonna do? Go ahead, try to push us around and we'll beat you black and blue. Oh, it'll take anything to express it from likes of you, yeah, you. Generation is your game where two can also play. From now on in, a bad line drawn and it's you who's gonna pay. You're right, you think we're wrong, where time will surely tell. We'll never give in, we'll keep on fighting. Gonna shove you back down your well, your well. Determination is your game, but the blues are surely for you to sing. Determination is your game, but the blues are surely for you to sing. Determination is your game, but the blues are surely for you to sing. Determination is your game, and the rules are so pointlessly like a shame. brothers to the end. That's what we said so long ago. No fear, good friends, brothers to the end. Means more to me than you will ever know. No fear, good friends, brothers to the end. That's what we said so long ago. No fear, good friends, brothers to the end. Means more to me than you will ever
All right, continuing on this week's Local Outbreak, our legacy show, as we go back and feature bands who are New Hampshire-based, who've had a big impact on the scene. Now we're going way, way back, 1968, from Fremont, New Hampshire, a band called the Shags. They were a trio, an all-female trio, and they actually had such an impact that they were at one point, according to what I read online, they were rated the number 4 best band in the world in a newspaper in Norway. So the Norwegians love the Shags. I'm on the fence about including this because what you are about to hear, if you've never heard the Shags, is really bizarre. And all their stuff is like this. It's really strange. So I almost didn't want to include them, but I was like, why not? All right, so here it is. This is the Shags, and the track is called Philosophy of the World.
Oh, the rich people want what the poor people's got, and the poor people want what the rich people's got, and the skinny people want what the fat people's got, and the fat people want what the skinny people's got. You can never please anybody in this world. The short people want what the tall people's got, and the tall people want what the short people's got. The little kids want what the big kids got, and the big kids want what the little kids got. You can never please anybody in this world. Oh, the girls with short hair want long hair, and the girls with long hair want short hair. Oh, the boys with cars want motorcycles, and the boys with motorcycles want cars. You can never please anybody in this world. It doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter what you say. There will always be one who wants things the opposite way. It doesn't matter where you go, it doesn't matter who you see. There will always be someone who disagrees. We do our best, we try to please, but we're like the rest, we're never at ease. Oh, the rich people want what the poor people's got, and the poor people want what the rich people's got, and the skinny people want what the fat people's got, and the fat people want what the skinny people's got. You can never please anybody in this world.
IPMNation.com.
Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet. This is Matt Connarton from IPM Nation at IPMNation.com. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Local Outbreak, our legacy show, looking back at some artists who've had an impact, a lasting impact, over the decades, literally, here in the New Hampshire music scene. And, of course, if you want to listen to any previous episodes of Local Outbreak, we do archive them all at IPMNation.com/Local Outbreak. And we're going to end tonight with someone who, very, very polarizing. He is very famous outside of New Hampshire, but he is, he was, of course, he's been dead for a long time now, but kind of a legend here, legendary figure from this state. I know quite a few people who knew him personally or encountered him at some point. And like I said, very polarizing. Some love him, some hate him. Some think he was brilliant. Some think he was just a very confused and mentally ill, drug-addled person. So very, very, people generally have very strong opinions about this guy, one way or the other. You'll rarely find anyone who's just kind of indifferent toward him one way or the other, unless they simply don't know about him. But if you're from New Hampshire and you've paid any attention to the music scene here at all, you know about G.G. Allin. And so we are going to end with this. This is a track called When I Die from G.G. Allin here on Local Outbreak on IPM Nation and 100.1 The Planet.
When I die, put that bottle in my hand. All these years on earth, it was my only friend. When you dig a hole and gonna bury me, put that bottle of Jim Beam to rest beside me. All my life I've been living on the run, hanging out in bars and hotel rooms, annoying everyone. Living on the road, running from coast to coast, spending many nights in jail like a gunman at his post. When I die, you don't have to cry. You don't have to feel no feelings inside. Never cared or had no feelings for no one. The only one I cared for was the one who made me come up. Live my life like a loner on the trail. Some of the nights in jail, I couldn't afford no bail. No one to call, no one to see me through. So I bought a gun one day and I came gunning after you. Living on the road, playing scum from rock and roll. I'm on the road and I haven't got no home. Never lived nowhere long enough to call home. I'm just an outlaw, much playing my rock and roll. Never had nothing that could keep me satisfied, except my booze and my drugs and that woman by my side. She was no woman, but she's good enough for me. She's got that second sweeter legs, and that's all I need.
IPMNation.com.